Today's adventure takes Kelly and I to Carlsbad Caverns with my brother Richard and his wife Lark. We went to see the bats fly out of the cave opening at night. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to use cameras, so I just took a picture from the visitor center. But we did see some other interesting creatures, such as this centipede, and saw a tarantula. In fact, saw a number of tarantulas crawling around at night. Pretty cool to see. But we came back the next morning so that we could see the actual cave and hike down the open. Okay, where are we at, Richard?
Carlsbad Caverns.
What do you have to say, Lark?
This is cool. Can't wait.
I echo those sentiments.
Me too. This is the Amphitheater at the natural entrance to the cave, where we'd sat the night before and watched as the bats flew out. You'll see that the path descending into the cave is switchbacks going back and forth that take us down 75 stories down to the big room. We had to have a reservation, and our National Park Pass covered the entrance. So it basically cost us $1, and off we head down the switchbacks, zigzagging to the entrance of the cave. And once we got in the cave, these switchbacks continue. And it got a little darker and a little darker, more difficult to take photos, and definitely harder to take videos. But it was like we were entering the opening to the center of the earth. I couldn't help but think of that movie, Journey to the Center of the Earth. We went through the black hole. That's the entrance, looking back. Just spectacular everywhere you look. We are in Carlsbad Caverns. That light you see above me is the opening as we look inside. And that would be Lark. You are required to wear a face mask when inside the caverns. You're also allowed to bring a flashlight, and it helped to see some of the sights that you wouldn't see from just the natural lighting, but it wasn't required to make your way through the cave. Look what we have here. It's Richard and Lark. And Kelly back there too.
We're in the devil's den right now.
The camera flash sometimes created distorted colors, but most of the time still managed to get pretty good images, and I even had to remove my mask to show that it was actually me that was there. I put it back on quickly. These next 3 pictures, this one and the next 2, were taken with my Nikon without a flash, without a tripod. Just had to see how it would work. But most of the other pictures, including this one of Kelly, were taken just with my cell phone. It's hard to know how the pictures will look. This is a cell phone picture with a flash. You see the rocks in the foreground. That's the same picture without a flash. It's hard to know if the cell phone pictures will look better than the pictures with my Nikon. I downloaded them at 2 megabytes. Not full spectrum. This is a silhouette of Richard, taken again with my cell phone. This is a formation called the whale's mouth. Another cell phone picture. Gonna get a video of them coming through. Here comes Richard. What do you think, Richard?
Pretty cool. Amazing.
Hello.
What do you think, Lark?
It's really nice. I wish they'd turn on the lights.
Spectacular.
Without my flashlight on the formations, the videos with my cell phone were quite dark. I wasn't sure how they'd turn out or if they'd be worth seeing. Face mask on, and it is just spectacular. We booked the earliest available reservation at 8:30, so we were the first ones in the cave, and most of the hike down, we were pretty much by ourselves. There's Kelly, celebrating. But as we made our way down, we still tried to keep our voices low and minimize the use of our flashlight so that other people could enjoy the ambience of the artificial lights as they shine on the different features in the cavern. There's Richard and Lark. But around every turn, it's like, there's a great picture. There's another great picture. Oh, I need that picture. Let's get a close-up of what one of the stalactites or one of the formations look like. All in all, I just have to say, they're all spectacular. Even the 200,000-ton rock that had fallen from the ceiling. Just hard to imagine. Carlsbad Cavern was known by the Native Americans in the area, but the first person that's credited with exploration of the cavern was an individual by the name of Jim White, a 16-year-old cowboy who found the cave when rounding up cattle when he observed bats flying from the entrance opening. His curiosity caused him to construct a ladder of wire and wood and descend down into the cave. These stairs are part of the old tourist route and are no longer used, but interesting to see. Now there's great signage and the path is easy to walk, no stairs. Carlsbad Caverns was designated as a national monument in 1923, just 25 years after Jim White discovered it. Hey, Kelly, what do you think of this?
That's crazy, but it's spectacular. Stalactites, stalagmites, pools, cave bacon, anything you could possibly want in a cave and more is here.
I haven't found any cave salamanders.
Or a cave spider, or a cave cricket. But it's here, except for the salamanders.
7 years after being designated as a national monument, it actually became a national park in 1930. During non-COVID periods, there are ranger-guided tours that you can take, but we're actually just doing a self-guided tour and can walk through the caverns at our own pace, taking pictures and spending as much time in each area as we'd like. There are also audio apps that you can download that will explain the different sights you see and some of the names of the different features. But any way you do it, it's spectacular and enjoyable. This formation hanging from the ceiling is called the Lion's Tail. There are over 30 miles of Carlsbad Caverns that have been explored, while only 3 miles are open to the public. We basically hiked 3.5 miles through the cave as we did our walking tour. But if you don't have that much time, and you just want to enjoy some of the most spectacular sights, you can actually take an elevator down the 750 feet toward the big room and hike around the bottom of the caverns and see these spectacular sights. And then, of course, you can take the elevator back up. But you do miss the thrill of coming through the natural entrance and the switchbacks hiking down. And of course, there are a lot more people in this area as well. So you don't get that sense of being in the cave alone and by yourself. But again, whichever route you choose, it's worth doing. If you're not able to walk that well, the elevator's the way to go. If you've got small or young children, elevator's the way to go. That rope that was shown was actually tied over the top somehow, and it was used for climbing up to explore other parts of the caverns. Just amazing the efforts that people went to explore this cavern. This is one of the old ladders. Obviously not stable now. Wouldn't try hiking that. But it's just hard to imagine how people went through this cavern when they first discovered it, and how amazed they must be, because it's quite amazing to us. The cave remains at a constant temperature of 56 degrees, so a lot of people wear a sweatshirt or a light sweater, but it didn't really feel that cold to me, as there's some humidity in there, and the hiking made it actually quite comfortable. So whether you go in the winter or summer, the temperature's the same, though the outside temperature in the summer can get quite warm. You are allowed to bring water into the cave, but no other food or beverages. This is the reflecting pool. Not sure that my photo actually caught the reflection in the water well enough to read it, but there are a number of signs that identify different features through the cave. So even though you don't have a guided tour, or you may not be listening to the audio, a lot of these features are identified. And even if you don't know what they are, you can still look at them and just appreciate them for their beauty and uniqueness. The splendor of nature. There's Richard in his face mask. Well, most of these pictures have been with my cell phone, different settings. I'm going to try to show some pictures with my Nikon, beginning with this one. And I'll let you know when they end. I carried my Nikon Z6 II with a 14 to 24 zoom lens to take all these pictures. They're all taken without a tripod, just handheld. And of course, I tried different settings to see what would work. Different apertures to get depth of field. And quite honestly, I don't know how they'll look, especially as I view this video on TV. But if you don't try it, you don't know. You'll notice that we don't see any bats in the cave. All the bats that we watched come out of the cave the night before actually live in a different portion of the cave that isn't open to the public. And on that night, we watched as many as 500,000 bats fly out of the cave. Quite spectacular. As the bats first exit the cave in the evening, they fly up in a spiral rotation, circling as they exit the cave to eat insects and fly over to the river to drink. It's said that over 500,000 bats will leave the cave each night. At least that's according to our ranger, who also told us that the bats have been clocked at over 100 miles an hour, making them the fastest animal on Earth. Maybe I need to Google that and double check. But that's what we were told. The photos really don't do justice to just how large and expansive Carlsbad Caverns are. This formation is known as Rock of Ages. The big room is 8.2 acres, the largest accessible cave chamber in North America. Can't capture that in one photo. Lark sits and just admires. There's Kelly. It is just spectacular to see. I use that word a lot, but it's true. Well, you may be getting tired of the photos. I just can't decide which one or which ones to leave out, so I put too many of them in. Here's some video in the big room. I believe I'm in the big room. The light's not good, but just spectacular view. Beautiful walk around the big room in a loop as you check out all the different stalactites, stalagmites, all the different features. You see some water in spots. Tried to get pictures of stalactites reflecting off the water. Not sure that any of them really worked. But then it's back to the elevators and the ride up 750 feet. I hope you enjoyed the tour. Have a good day.